This conference will now be recorded.
Just hold on, please. I have not shared the screen. I will share the screen right now. Okay. So, are you able to see my screen, Oba?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's free.
Okay. So, first of all, we are going to understand what is Oracle Database Server, right? With the
Okay.
reference of general terminology. Like everybody is saying that Oracle Database Server is behaving like a human, right? How Oracle
Yes.
Database Server is behaving like a human, that we are going to understand, right? So,
Right.
just like a human, when we talk about a human, like this is Oba, I'm going to draw Oba, right?
Okay.
This is Oba, right? Oba has two hands, two legs, right? And one very sharp mind, right? So what happens whenever Oba is going to read everything, whenever Oba is going to read anything, so first of all, Oba is putting that thing in his mind here, right?
Okay.
Now, Oba has taken one class today, thereafter another class tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and after that. Means for continuation of 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, and so long, Oba is reading and reading and reading every time and putting everything in his mind, right?
Okay.
So my question is, how long Oba will retain that thing in his mind? Means if Ova is taking this class today, then how long that class content will remain Ova's mind, for how many days? Maybe for 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, and thereafter that has been disappeared, gone. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the point is, whatever the Ova is reading today or understanding today, that Oba is keeping in his mind, and Oba wants to make that thing, whatever the things has been in his mind, to a permanent storage or to a permanent place. That somewhere around after 1 year or 2 year, when Oba wants to repeat the same thing, that same things Oba will see, and everything will be recorded,
Okay.
right? So
Right.
what Oba will do, whatever the thing in Oba's mind, that Oba will write down in somewhere in notebook, right? One notebook will fill, right? Oba will write down another notebook, right? And so long,
Right.
so on. Means whatever the things are coming in his mind, Oba is making it permanent to written down in a notebook, right?
Right.
So doing this activity to transferring data, Oba's data from Oba's mind to the notebook, what Oba is doing? Oba is using some of the means his body parts. Like Oba is seeing the data or understanding the data, and maybe by speaking from mouth, he's transferring data to his notebook by writing from his hand, right? From a
Okay.
pen or pencil or something else. So what body what board oh, sorry what body part Oba is using to transfer data from mind to notebook? Oba is using hand, eyes, mouth, right? Like this. So these are the helping parts. Those are transferring data from Oba's mind to notebook to make it permanent. So there are two things. One is the part that is volatile, means after some time whatever the data is there, that has been disappeared, right?
Okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
another part is if you have transferred data to that part, so whatever the data is there, that will remain permanent. Means somewhere around in future, if you want to refer it, you can use those notebooks to refer those data, right?
Right.
Just like today's class, you are hearing this class and understanding everything, and after this class I will provide you some notes, right? I will, and you also create some notes for yourself to your understanding, and after 2 year 3 year or 4 years, when you want to refer the same class, you will see those notes and you are able to understand what we have read on those class. Getting my point?
Right. Yes, sir.
So there are three things. One is the part which is volatile, another the part which is permanent, and some of the your helping things. Those are used to transfer data from this part to this part, right?
Okay.
So
All right.
just like human, Oracle database server also behaves. Just like this is this is Oracle database server. I'm drawing a diagram. This is Oracle database server, right?
Okay.
Just like you have a volatile part, when we talk about Oracle database server also have a volatile part. This is volatile part. We call it memory, right? We call it memory,
Memory. Memory lane.
memory, right? And or just like these helping hands, Oracle database server also have some processes, right? These are the processes, right? These are the processes. Those are used to transfer data from this volatile part to the physical storage, right? Just I am
Okay.
rubbing it. Just wait down. Just wait down. Right?
Okay.
So there are three things. One is memory, which is volatile. These are the background processes. Background BG processes,
Okay.
right? And these are the hard disks. These are the hard disks, or you can say SAN storage or NAS storage. What are these terminology? I will let you know, right? What are these terminology? SAN storage, NAS storage, NFS device, right? These are the terminology where the data has been stored, right? So generally,
Right.
just take it. These are the hard disks, physical hard disks, right? Where data is going to be stored. So when we talk the physical hard disk, right? This is the hard disk, SD, and this this is the hard disk part is called database, right? Hard disk part is called database, right? And this memory part has been created inside RAM. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
And this is what this is Oracle
Database.
or it sorry, what happened? This is a Oracle database server, right? When we are going to install a Oracle database server or Oracle software, it asks three things. What is the volatile part, right? Where the memory has been located for Oracle purpose, right? And in the same part that means inside memory, the Oracle will also assign some of the area for background processes, and the part where physical data will be stored, that you have to define, right? So this has been collected by the Oracle automatically, but this part you need to define where these physical files will be created. So when we talk about Oracle database server, it has three parts. One is memory, another one is background processes, another one is database, right? So whenever we are saying database, that means we are talking about the part which is physically to Oracle database server. Means the physical storage part is called, or sorry, database. The physical
Okay.
storage part of Oracle DB server, database server, is called database, right? Now compare it with the human terminology. Now, as just like human, you have a mind. Oracle database server also have a mind. This is memory. Just like helping processes, big background processes, you also have hands, eyes, mouth to help to transfer or to to transact data from volatile memory to physical storage. Oracle also have background processes, right?
Okay. All
So
right.
so just like notebook, Oracle database server also have physical hard drive, right? So whatever the data you will store in this notebooks, that will only remain for long time, and that is only actually the database, right? So which is always referable, means you can refer that data in future as well, right? Which is physically stored. So Oracle database server has three parts. One is memory, background processes, and database. Now a new terminology has been came in this Oracle database server scenario, which is called which is called instance, right? Which is called instance. So when we
Okay.
talk about instance, instance is what? The memory and background processes in combination is called instance,
All right.
right?
Okay.
So when we are saying instance, so that means I am talking about the part which is volatile, right? Means instance
Okay.
has been created inside RAM, right? So
Okay.
Oracle database server volatile part is called instance, and the permanent physical part is called database,
Okay.
right? So why
All
we
right.
required an instance? Why we required an instance means why we are allocating some of the memory for Oracle database server,
Okay. All
right?
right.
So when we install Oracle database server, what happens? So Oracle database server is a program, right? Is a program that you need to install on top of operating system. So every time our operating system remains in a lower part of your RAM, right? Lower part of OS. On top of that, any of the program will be installed. So operating system always manages that program, right? So whenever a request came to Oracle database server, that has been came to the volatile part, means where the operating system loaded. So operating system is loaded inside RAM, right? On top of operating system, you have installed or you have loaded, means whenever you will install Oracle database server, some of the part has been loaded on top of operating system. So whenever a program, then let's assume you have a client machine, right? You have a client machine and you have a Oracle database server here. Okay, so you have fired a query, select a star from employee. So that query will go to Oracle database server, right? Because this is a blank client, means you are using that client to communicate with your Oracle database server. That query will not be executed here only. That query will be executed on Oracle database server. So whenever you fired a query, select a star from employee, that will go to Oracle database server. Now, when it will go to Oracle database server, first of all, this machine's operating system will communicate with this machine's operating system where this Oracle database server has been loaded. Getting my point? Hello?
Yes, sir. Hello?
Yeah. Are you getting my point? This is just a program. This is just a program. Hello? Are you there, Oba? Hello? Are you there? Oba, are you there? Hello? 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 Yeah. Hello?
Hello? All right.
Okay. So the thing is, I want to communicate, I want to fire a query on client machine that will be run on this Oracle database server. Now, when we are saying that will run on Oracle database server, what it's mean? Prior to Oracle database server, there is a medium that is called operating system. So this has also been installed somewhere in any computer, right? And computer has been governed by operating system. Getting my point? Hello, are you getting
Okay.
my
Yes,
point?
sir.
Right? So this
Yes,
is
sir.
Oracle Database Server is what? Oracle Database Server is a program that has been installed on top of some of the operating system inside a machine, inside a computer, right? So
Okay.
when we fire a query from another computer, first of all, the operating system of this computer will communicate with operating system of this computer where Oracle Database Server is communicated, sorry, situated.
All
Okay,
right.
so
All
the
right.
thing is, first of all, operating system of client machine and operating system of Oracle database server machine will communicate, right? And Oracle and that operating system will transfer the request to Oracle database server. Getting my point?
Yes, sir. So the two operating systems have to communicate.
Yeah. So Oracle, this is Oracle database server, Oracle, right? Oracle. On top of operating system, Oracle is installed. Oracle DB server is installed, right? So when communicate this operating system will communicate to this operating system, and which of the part will first communicate with operating system of Oracle database server? Which of the part of Oracle database server will firstly interact with operating system? Let tell me. That part is whatever the part exists inside RAM,
Hello?
right? Yeah, getting my point.
Please can, please can you repeat yourself? I think I didn't
I'm
quite catch
saying
that.
I'm saying one means one once one request of client machine will go to the Oracle database server machine. First of all, the network will come into place. Operating system of this or client machine will communicate with operating system of this Oracle database server machine, and that when that request come to Oracle database server machine, that request will transfer by operating system to Oracle database Oracle program or Oracle database server, right?
Okay.
So where that where in which part of that machine that request has been transferred to Oracle database server, and that part is RAM, right? That part is RAM. So first of all, whenever a request is coming from any client machine, that will come to the instance, the part which exists inside RAM,
All right.
right? And that will processed here inside this memory portion, There are multiple components of this machine, this memory portion, and once that has been processed, that request, that data will be physically stored here in hard disk. Or this process required some any historical data, so that also requests to some of the program, and that program will communicate with this physical part, and that data will be returned to this memory part as well. Like, just like you are filing any select statement, so that select statement will come from the historical data, means the part, means the storage part, because data has been stored in physical devices, which physical hard disk, right? So what I am trying to understand you, that Oracle database server has three parts. One is memory, one is background processes, and one is database. When we talk about memory plus background processes, we will call it instance, right? So
Okay.
instance is a volatile part, right? When we talk about Oracle database server instance, so instance is volatile part, which is running inside memory. Once your machine goes down, so whatever the data there in instance part, that has been wiped off,
All right.
right? But whatever the data there in database part, means in hard disk, that will be remain as it is. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there you will see there are two things when you will install Oracle Database Server. There are two things. One is SID. This we can call it site identifier, right? SID. This is the name of your instance, and another one is global DB name, global database name. So when we talk about global database name, that is the name of database, means that is the name of your physical area of your Oracle database server. When we are saying SID, so that is the name of your instance, means your Oracle database server's volatile area. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we install Oracle Database Server, we are installing, we are mentioning two things. One is what is the name of SID of my Oracle Database Server, and what is the name of my global DB name. So when we talk about SID, we are giving a name to my instance of that Oracle Database Server. When we are writing any global DB name, so that is the name of my physical storage part of Oracle database server, or we can see
All right.
database name. This concept is clear or not?
That's clear. That's very clear. So the SID is the instance name, whilst the global DB name is just the database name, the global database name.
Yeah. So this means this course is all about to manage this whole device, right? This course is to manage this Oracle database server. How you will administrate this Oracle database server. In case of means failure, how you will troubleshoot this Oracle database server, right? How you will
Right.
take the backup of your data, right? How you
Right.
will manage the performance of this Oracle database server, right? How you will manage the content, or you can say data of this Oracle database server, right? So this course is all about to administer this Oracle database server. We are not going to cover any development part or programming part. We are not going to cover any SQL queries related part. We are only going to cover the terminology of this internal Oracle database server. or we can say internal terminology of this Oracle database server. Like what are the part of this memory portion? How many background processes are there and what are their functionality? How many these physical storage structure files and what are their terminology? Right? Hello.
Right. Right.
So we are going to cover this portion, and this is all about logical thing. Means physical. What is the difference between physical and logical? Physical things are means those are you can visualize, and logical things are on the basis of these logics you are managing those physical things, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
So you are going to enter in a course where you are learn to manage all those things, right? Oracle database server.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I think this up to this point everything is clear.
Yes, this is very
Do
clear.
you have any question?
Um, the only question I have is why is the memory hello?
Yeah, tell me.
Why is the memory so volatile?
Hello.
Hello? Why is the memory what makes what makes the memory the RAM so volatile?
Can you please repeat? Can
Hello?
you please repeat? Yeah. Can you once repeat your question?
What makes the RAM or the memory so volatile?
Okay. So volatile. That is the characteristics of memory. That is the characteristics of memory. Now, let's assume you have a 16 means you have a 16 GB of memory, right? Out of this 16 GB, you have allocated that 2 GB is for Oracle database server,
Okay.
right? 2 GB is for Oracle database server. Now, the thing is, let's assume you have filled 2 GB of data in that memory portion, right?
All right.
Means you have fired some of the queries, means more many of the queries, and those queries have filled 2 GB of that Oracle allocated memory portion, right?
Okay. All right.
Now, the thing is, again you have fired some of the query which those required some more memory area. So what will happen? They will stuck. Those memory will stuck because already they means the previous memories, previous queries has occupied all that 2 GB of area. That's why that memory area is volatile, and that has been refreshed time to time to release the memory, right? Now
Okay.
that, as you are aware about that RAM is made from silicon, right? Silicon is the main component of that RAM. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
So that has been, silicon chips are used to store your data, but that is the characteristics of your RAM, that has been volatile because that has to be, means data has to be processed there, not stored there, right? Those are not meant to store data permanently. They are meant to process the data. Means data is coming and going out. Data is coming and going out. Either that has been data is going out of the Oracle database server, or that data is coming from memory to the database part, the physical hard disk.
All right.
Right?
So it deletes old data in the memory area to process new data that's being entered in the query.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
All right. So whatever the query you are writing there, that has been processed inside instance, and either those memory require data from hard disk, or those memory are meant to store data into hard disk, right? I mean it hard disk means the database part, the physical storage part, right? Either you are running those queries to getting data from the database or to store data inside the database,
Okay.
right?
So okay.
So means means once those queries are coming, those are firstly interact with the part which is inside RAM, right? Which is inside RAM. And what part is inside RAM? That is the part instance. First of all, those memories, those queries are coming to the volatile part in the instance, and those queries has been processed inside instance and permanently stored in the database part here, hard disk part,
Alright.
or they required some data from here to here as
Okay.
well. Okay.
Okay. So that's so the Oracle database server is for the storage and the memory is for processing.
Yeah.
That's why we need database server.
Yeah. Yeah. When you install Oracle database server, you have to mention how much memory you are allocating for Oracle database server,
Alright.
right? I will let you know. You have to mention there how much memory you want to store, you want to allocate for Oracle database server, right? So
Okay.
this memory part is called SGA, System Global Area. This memory part is called SGA, right?
Alright.
There are some other memory part as well. Those are called PGA, Program Global Area, and UJ, User Global Area,
Okay.
right? So these are the three memory components come into picture when you will install Oracle database server. Okay.
Alright.
So there are some terminology we need to understand before we get into the actual architectural component. So just I have to save this. You require this, the diagram I have draw here, the very beautiful diagram. Huh? You require
Alright.
this. Whatever I have did here, the cross line and these, or I will wipe it off.
I've taken a screenshot, don't worry.
You have taken the screenshot.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's a brilliant
So
diagram.
I do not going to save it. So there are some of the terminology you need to understand, right? One
Okay.
is one is connection. Another one is session. Another one is user process. Another one is server process. Another one is dedicated server, shared server, right? SGA, PGA, UGA, right? So these are the some
Alright.
of the terminologies I will frequently use in my communication. So you need to understand it, right? Some of others as well. Okay, once those will come into my mind, I will let you know.
Alright.
Okay, so what is connection? What is connection?
Um, okay, is that a question?
Yeah, I'm asking to you.
Okay. Alright. A link between the clients and the Oracle database server.
Okay. When we talk about connection, connection means, let's assume this is your client machine, right? And this is your Oracle database server machine, right? You want to communicate with this client machine to this machine, right?
Right?
So as I have told you, whenever you send a request from your client machine, first of all, which part of that means, whenever you will send a request from your client machine, then that request will interact which part of your Oracle database server?
Um, the memory.
Yeah, the instance part, right? So when we
Or
say connection has been established, that means your request has been communicated, or your request has been interacted or communicated with the instance of your Oracle database server. Got my point?
yes, sir.
Okay. So
Right.
connection means whenever you are saying any request to Oracle database server, sending any request. Request means a query. You have fired a query, right, from your client machine, and that query is going to Oracle database server, and that query is successfully able to communicate with instance part of your Oracle database server. That means your client is able to communicate with Oracle database server. Then only it is going to be process that query by Oracle database server, right?
Okay.
So when we are saying connection, connection means your client is able to communicate with instance part of your Oracle database server. Now next is session. Session means to
Um,
process. Yeah, good, good,
oh, sorry. No, don't worry. You can continue.
good, good, good. I want to hear
Uh,
from you.
session. I think it's like a time session, so it's the amount of time that um the clients can request of um data and information off the Oracle database server.
Okay, just in layman language, session means you have a area allocated inside RAM or Oracle database server where you can process your query,
Okay.
right? Just you have typed SQL plus OBA slash tiger at the rate some DNS alias name. What is this DNS alias name? I will let you know, right? So that is the connection string. So once you have typed that connection, I will write here. I will write here in your client machine. SQL plus OBA is a username, your account name slash tiger at the rate my DNS. This is the DNS alias, and you will get a SQL prompt. That means you have logged into the Oracle database server by using this TNS entry. What is this TNS entry? Don't panic. I will let you know what is this all about. Means this is the course to meant to understand all these things. Means what are the network component, what are the memory, what are the hard disk, background process, user management, process management, backup, how many types of backups are there, performance management, job scheduling, all those things you will let you know in this course, right?
Okay.
So you will get a prompt here, right? So what it's mean when you are typing any query here, right? Select a star from something. So that query is going to communicate your instance part So then you will tell your connection has been established. To process that query, you required a place inside memory, right? Inside instance, you required your own area will be allocated to process all your queries. That area is called session. Means a session has been created inside instance for you. Good,
Okay.
right? Once you are running any query that has been processed inside session, your session only.
Okay.
Okay.
So an area in the memory where queries can be made.
Yeah, allocated for to process your query, your connection, that is called session, right?
All right.
Next is user process. Now, who is responsible to take your request from here, the client machine, to the Oracle database server? This is the logical thing. So user process is responsible to take your request from client machine and take it up to the Oracle database server. Got my point? There should be some process who is responsible to take your request from your client machine and take it up to the Oracle database server.
Okay. So it's basically just processing the user request.
Yeah, this is the logical thing. Means user process is responsible to take your request from client machine and take it up to the Oracle database,
Okay. All right.
right? The
Right.
permission of Oracle database, the permission of user process is not inside the Oracle database. That is
Oh,
the access of user process is only up to the boundary of Oracle database server, or we can say once it has reached to Oracle database server instance, that that request has been transferred to some another process, right? That
oh,
request has been transferred to some other process, that is called server process,
all right.
right? So the responsibility of user process is to take your request from client machine and take it up to the Oracle database server. And once it will reach to Oracle database server, the request has been transferred to server process, and server process will do all the processing, whatever the request required inside Oracle database server, either in memory or background process or hard disk part. And again, that request has been handed over to user process, and the responsibility of user process is to deliver the output of that request to your client machine.
All right. So user
So,
process. Sorry. So
so yeah, let me complete. So the user process is not meant to get inside the Oracle database server, right? That will reach up to Oracle database server and transfer that request to server process. Server process accept that request and process everything inside Oracle database server. I am not getting inside what are the processes are get involved in that,
okay.
right? That taken by the server process, and again once the request process has been completed, again server process will hand it over that request to user process, and user process will take that request and deliver it to client machine. So let understand, the access of user process is not inside the Oracle database server, and the access of server process is not outside the Oracle database server. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the server process is not meant to come out of Oracle database server. A user process is not meant to get into the Oracle. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So the next thing is dedicated server. Dedicated server is a terminology how your client machine is going to communicate with your Oracle database server. It is a terminology. There are two type of connection can be established. One is dedicated one-to-one, another one is many-to-one. So dedicated server is one-to-one communication, right? So the thing is, what is dedicated server process? So let's assume this is your client machine and this is your Oracle database server, right? These are the client
Okay.
machines, right? These are the Oracle client machines, and these are the Oracle. They are going to communicate with. They are going to communicate with Oracle database server. So once client machine will do any request to connect with Oracle database server, a process, dedicated process will get involved in between, right? So whatever
Right.
this client, let's assume C1 is a client, whenever this client is going to request, that will go to the DS, means dedicated server, right? And the response of Oracle database server is come through DS only, right?
Okay.
So whenever first time client is going to communicate with Oracle database server, so first time what will happen? The gatekeeper of Oracle database servers come into picture. And what is the gatekeeper of Oracle database server? A new terminology is come into picture. Listener. So write down listener here as well. Listener and TNS names. Right? So listener is a gatekeeper of Oracle database server that run on only Oracle database. So client will that basically identify the port on which that Oracle database server has been installed. Listener is very important part of your Oracle database server. If listener is down, none of the client is able to communicate with your Oracle database server,
Okay.
right? So listener is basically called as a gatekeeper of Oracle database server. Listener basically identifies the port on which, means every program has been installed in on a port, right? On a certain port. So Oracle database server default port is 1521, right? And
Right.
default listener identifies that port. You can also install on another port as well, but you have to define a listener for that another port as well,
Right.
right? So listener, whenever a client request come to connect with Oracle database server, first of all that request will come to listener, and listener will make a connection to Oracle database server, right? As well
Right.
as listener will listener will open a dedicated process for that client machine for serving it, is for further serving, right? Why? Let's assume another client request come. Again that request come to listener, but listener is busy to serve client C1, right? Another C3 request will come, right? So again that request come to the listener, but listener is busy to serve for client C1. So to avoid that situation, listener, what listener will do, first of all, it will get the request of C1 and make a connection, as well as open a dedicated server process to fulfill the further request coming from C1 client, and detach himself from the C1, right?
Okay.
Again I am repeating. Whenever a request will come, that will come to listener, right? Listener will make a connection of that client machine to Oracle database server, as well as listener will open a dedicated process, server process. Those are the programs, those are the inbuilt programs, the dedicated program for C1 client for fulfilling whatever the further request is coming from C1 client, and listener will free himself to serve other client request. Again, C2 client request will come. Again, it will communicate with listener. Listener will make a connection of C2 with this. Again, listener will open another process that is called DS2. Means just I am giving a name, DS2. That will open a process DS2. And DS2 is further responsible to fulfill the request is coming or going out from this machine, this Oracle database. Just like D3, right, and so on.
Okay.
So
That's
first
the
of all,
one point.
yeah, first of all, whenever a client request will come, that will come to listener. Listener will connect with Oracle database server, and side by side it will open a dedicated server process for that client for fulfilling further requests, whatever the further requests are coming, and detach himself to that client, right, to work for another client. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the dedicated process. These are also called workhorse process. Workhorse process means they are the very heavy process. Workhorse process. So for by this way you can see if there are 100 clients, right? So there are 100 DS means dedicated server processes will open.
All right.
Okay. So these are the workhorse process. So that will increase. These are the programs that will open inside this Oracle database server only. Okay. So
Okay.
to avoid this situation, another connection mechanism will introduce, that is called shared server mechanism. That is called shared server mechanism. We will stop here after shared server, right? Thereafter we will discuss it next week.
All
Okay.
right. All right.
If you have time in between, then we can connect as well.
Okay.
Just let me know if you have a time in daytime or any weekdays. So just let me know. So
All right.
I will connect with you on that day as well.
All right.
Okay. So next
Okay.
is shared server process. So for shared server process, let's assume this is a client, right? This is client C1. This is client C2. This is C2, right? This is C3. This is C4, and so on up to C100.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
So does this mean in shared server they all have the same database state server, database server?
there are two types of mechanism to communicate with your Oracle database server from a client. First, I have explained in dedicated server mode, where a dedicated server process will introduce for individual client. Now we are communicating shared server mode. What is shared server mode? On which way in if you have installed your Oracle database in shared server configuration, then how your client will be communicated,
So they
right?
all have. Okay.
Okay. So first, dedicated is clear, means one-to-one mapping, means one client, one dedicated server, and one Oracle database.
Okay.
Right? Individual dedicated server process will allocate by the listener to fulfill that client request. Now in shared server, what happens? This client request will come, right?
Okay.
First of all, that request will come to, this is your Oracle database server. Sorry, this is your Oracle database server. Let's assume this is your Oracle database server. Now, so that request will come in between. Instead of instead of putting a workhorse process, Oracle will put a lightweight process that is called dispatcher.
Okay.
Dispatcher. The work of dispatcher is only to dispatch the request from client to Oracle database server, right? And take the request whatever coming from Oracle database server. So dispatcher will put that request to a queue, in a queue, in a queue, which is called request. Request queue, right? And
All right.
that request will be put like this. C1 will put in a queue. Again, C2 will come. Dispatcher will again put that request D2. This is D2 in a queue. C2, just like D3. Dispatcher means in dedicated server mode, listener will open a dedicated server process, but in this shared server mode, listener will open a dispatcher. Right?
All right.
D4 and this queue C4, like same like C up to C100, right? So whatever the queue are coming, they are putting on the way, on the FIFO way, in a queue, first in first out, and
Okay.
that request will go to Oracle database server one by one. This is Oracle DB server, and when once Oracle DB server will process all those requests, right, they will put into the another queue that is called response queue. That is called response queue, right? And one by one, as they have received, just like they have transferred to their dispatcher, like this, right? As they are completing, they have been transferred to their dispatcher to display on C2. Now the thing is, you can see there in dedicated server process there are 100 client, there was 100 client and 100 DS will be open, right? But
All
in
right.
this case, but in this case, only 100 dispatchers are open, right?
All right.
Right. So what is the difference? Difference is 100 client, 100 100 clients. Oh, 100 clients is equals to 100 dispatcher plus one shared server. But here in dedicated server process, 100 dedicated servers are on. Dispatchers are very lightweight process. They are meant to dispatch the thing to the response, push the thing to response request kiosk. So by this mechanism, you can reduce the workload on your Oracle database server in multi-client connection environment. But there are some drawbacks. Drawbacks are what? If you have proper and sufficient resource to handle multiple client requests, then you should go with dedicated server process because the request has been fulfilled very quickly. But you don't have if you don't have proper resources, sorry, you if you don't have is proper resources, then you should not go for this dedicated server process,
Okay.
right? But in case of shared server process, your request is going to be, maybe your request is going to stuck in queue. You require that request very soon, but maybe there are some other requests are already there in a queue, so that can be time taking. So depending upon the scenario of your environment, you can choose what medium you want to connect with your Oracle database server. What type of server or what type of connection server you want to implement in your environment,
All right.
right?
Right.
So in starting we have lost almost half our time, right? Because the sound was not coming. So no worries, we will cover it in next class, right?
Okay.
So just make up your mind that we are going to take a long class. Otherwise, we are not going to complete this course in 2.5 months because this is a very wide course,
Okay.
right? You are means what Oracle version I am going to cover. I am going to cover Oracle Database 12.2, or you can say Oracle 12C R2 released. I am going to cover, right? Thereafter Oracle 18C as well in market, and Oracle 19C as well. 19C, right? So what is Oracle 12C? When we talk about Oracle 12.2, that is 12.0.1, and this is Oracle 12. Sorry, this is what about this is Oracle 18C is Oracle 12.2.0.2, right? And this is what? This is 0.3.
Okay.
This is 0.3, right? So
Okay.
means if we talk about 18C or 19C, all those are Oracle 12C only. Basically, the base is Oracle 12C, right?
All right.
Once means when we have discussed about Oracle, then there was means 1 or 2 years back, there was Oracle 11G, right? And that has been depreciated in December 2017,
All right.
right? So it is good to go with Oracle 12C R2 only. So
Okay.
I will cover all this course content in Oracle 12.2, Oracle 12C only. Okay.
Okay.
So, so I am stopping this class right now. See you for next week, right?
See you for next week. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
See you.
Bye. See you.